ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Inbound 25 stage, returning for the fourth time. One man, one solution. Let's give it up for Nick Sal. Thank you all very, very much for coming. They used to introduce us. So I know it's Friday afternoon after a very long few days, and I know it's after lunch. So I just wanted to begin the session with you all in my usual way. I want to, keep on. I want to, keep on. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nick Sal, and we're here at Inbound. And it's after lunch, and I know you're tired, but I got a great topic, and you're gonna love it. So here we go. So excited. I'm all on a plane right now. We're in here, and I hope you're gonna be like, everybody's coming out for this. So, my name is Nick Salvatoriello. I just go by Nick Sal. It's a lot easier to spell and pronounce. Go with that. I'm here for the first time representing myself. In my own business, I'm a lead event facilitator. So I sit between marketing, I sit between sales, and help us put these types of things together. If you want to connect, there'll be a QR code at the end. Of course, let's get that out of the way. All the slides, all the deck are available and some templates. But I think it's important to start with why. For presentations like this, like why am I here, why did I choose to do a topic like this? Because, and I verified this from meeting some of you in the room leading up to this, is I think I have said this, and every one of us is likely if you're involved in organizing B2B field events have said this. Next slide. They asked us, said it was important for sales, but on the day, nobody showed up. At least it felt that way, right? And do you think it was because somebody committed to get you something, they were going to keep an appointment, they were going to send out some invites, they were going to contribute something, and they didn't follow through? Yeah, I know, we all know, we've been there. And what I'd like to do is to share with you some best practices that I can learn the hard way that we all have in the trenches, and hopefully you can walk away with some nuggets so we have less of this field right here. Because that field event's great, guys. They should be. When we're talking about trade shows like this, an intimate executive dinner, or a road show across the country, of virtual events with 1,000 people on it, they're just great at driving direct connections around a single experience. We know exactly what everybody just heard. We know exactly where they're at. Sales loves that because they can make them build rapport directly with people quite quickly and efficiently. Marketing loves it. We'll scoop it all up. We've got this list. We got some results quite fast in a single moment. And when done consistently, we know it can get people to something like this, right? This is the point, is that we do it well, and we can build up and have a community all around this. You can get your own prospects, your own partners coming in like I did, creating content for you in your company. That's the holy grail, right, for these types of events. So what is that challenge? Why did we all resonate with that first quote? Is because, number one, right, sales and marketing missing alignment. Sales is not the enemy. But we avoided the hard part. We avoided the awkward planning part, facing the music about, do we even know any of these people? Do we know enough people? Do we actually have a plan? I've skipped over that in place of hope. But two is, if that's the case, and I've talked to some of you before this, and I know, like me, you've had to scramble sometimes, full schedule, moving fast, people aren't picking up the phone, gotta just go on stage. It feels thrown together sometimes, right? And that's not a good feeling for our attendees. Or worse, you decide to have no real program at all. Let's just make sure it's a party, we'll have fun, our reps will be in the room, right? We'll just have serendipity, osmosis, will take care of it for us, right? And then, even if you do succeed, I've been on this stage before and generated hundreds of leads from this stage, but it was all I could do to get up here with a talk. And a day goes by, a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, and you don't follow up. There's actually a stat out there that 80% of trade show leads on average, HubSpot research, like you don't follow up. Well, is that gonna happen to us? Hope not, especially not after today. So, and who I am, why I'm here is I just love helping put on this aspect of marketing. That's all this page is trying to show you. Is I'm committed to doing this. I'm very passionate about people having a good time, having it be an engaging and educational event. Ever since I was a DJ in college, all the way up to becoming a professor at HubSpot Academy, on HubSpot Training Day, the launch of the HubSpot certification here about years ago, to then working for other B2B SaaS firms and agencies and stuff like that. I've sponsored big trade shows, so I've intimate dinners, good and bad, but I'm also focused on the profit. That's why we're here, right? This is a sales conversation. We have to make sure it's not just a really great event, but it's something that drives commerce for all of us. And I'm very interested in that, and I've proven the pudding occasionally in doing that. So, when you think about your best field events, when I look back, what actually set them apart, there were some of these things. Number one, there was a leader, somebody owning it, a visionary, somebody who said, this is going to be big. We're not going to just do cookie cutter what we did last time. I need you on board marketing. I need you on board sales, product team, customer success, logistics, whatever it might be. They align the leaders ahead of time before they begin to go further. Then it goes into project management from day one, right? Occasionally we do this all well, sometimes not. Regular meeting cadence, blocking out the work, frameworks for how we do things, documentation process. It's hard, I know. These are the things that really set it apart. The third one being entertaining as well as educational. I think we most of the time check off educational, can't we, in what we're doing? But sometimes it takes this creative courage to take a swing and do something that's going to catch people's attention, like HubSpot's some way to do it. And so that is a big piece. I think we look at the best events, they have that entertaining component as well as the educational. And then finally, following up smartly. You already heard, sometimes it's a drop ball. I'm going to talk about some things today I believe will help us all. We plan it ahead of time, set it up ahead of time, in a platform like HubSpot, you don't take it there. So would you like to get there at the next event? Do you want to have your next event be a little bit more prepared, have your reps a little bit more ready to go and be successful? Are you good with this? Amen? Friday afternoon, baby. Let's do this Friday. You with me in that? All right. So I had to come up with a formula, right? You have to have a framework for these types of things. So it's IWEF. Yeah, we'll work on that. Okay, IWEF. Identify key targets, warm them up with content, engage and qualify the event, follow it. That's what we're going to talk about in the chapter or two. The content's here for you. Let's get into identifying key targets. What's the situation here usually? Sales doesn't have it. Maybe marketing doesn't have it. So I'm trying to sponsor, we're trying to get to that event, they'll hand that to us perhaps. The targets will reveal themselves once we put the bat signal out about our event and see who likes it, who shows up, right? That's the status quo. Yeah? So my appeal is, let's say to them, let's not just try to invite anyone and everyone or see who shows up, but let's try to determine who are the right people we would like to get in front of. And why would that person matter to us? Why would them coming here, why is what we have to offer here, this experience, going to matter to them? Let's start there and plan it from there. And so in this part of identifying key targets, what we're trying to do, so this couple pictures of me demonstrating, is just present and sit down and plan with them and say, what are we trying to accomplish with this event? Again, who are our key targets? And then going and checking in our database of HubSpot and say, all right, are those people, do they have some intent, or you might say interest? Are they at least interested in this topic? In us? In this geo? In this conference? Do they have a fit for demographics? Demographics, of course, yes. And then do we have a relationship? Who knows this person? Who can most easily get this person to engage to the event? And you can use your data in HubSpot to help you prioritize and start to look at that, and then we can build a second meeting like this. That's what we're going to try to do. Now, I think this part requires a little more structure. And this is definitely something I'd like to sit down and make sure it gets done. And I have a free event brief template. You should have the whole thing summarized in brief. What do we know so far? 8 weeks out, 6 weeks, whatever, how far out we can get. What don't we know? What do we need to follow up on? So sales isn't constantly coming to you like it's your football to carry the whole time. This is our plan that you guys signed on to. It's documented. We've got follow-ups that you've committed to. We've got numbers that you've committed to, parts to play, and all been signed off on. And we're not going to get there with the first meeting if you don't normally do this. But we need to start heading in this direction and inject this type of discipline and approach to what we're doing. The QR code is coming for this. I promise you, just a little anticipation. So, if I could ask, because we're here at INBOUND, and one of the number one reasons you go to a conference like this is to make connections with people. You've got 2 or 3 hours left, so I'm going to give you one more chance here. If you go here with me, partner meeting, and look to the person next to you, maybe it's the person on your left, and you pick a side, and think to yourself, the next field event that you are putting on, your team is putting on, your company is putting on, what is one key challenge your target prospects care about that we can base that around? Would you mind just sharing that with the person next to you? Say hello, and let them know what do you think is one key challenge of your event. I'll give you 30 seconds. Let's say you did that. We sat down with sales, we agreed, there is a challenge, we're going to base this around. We know who cares about that challenge, we know why they care about that challenge, we can start basing. Who are the relationships we have around that? Who's being a good fit for that? Let's make sure that's crystal clear. Because, sorry, just to dwell on this. The event is not the format, that is not the goal. It is whatever we're talking about around that, whatever that trend is that event even exists for. That is the thing we're trying to engage people around and create marketing campaigns around. So let's assume now we sat down with sales, we know what this event, the challenge is supposed to be addressing, who cares about it. Now let's sit down and build some segments in HubSpot. And you can call these lists whatever, we might have more bifurcated lists like this, but I think in general the buckets are, who are the executive level invites? These are the people that they don't come, like they are the snowball that's going to build across. And that may be 5 or 10 targets or something like that, but your executives are going to hand invite that person. There might be a subject matter expert, they're going to be speaking at the event. We provide a tremendous amount of social proof. We talk about their logo being there, their title being there, that kind of thing. There's another list, which is the second most important list, the sales. Who are the targets that sales is going to hand invite, to go to actually reach out to because they have a relationship with that contact, that target. This event is the excuse to reach out and touch that target. It's not the catalyst for reaching out and touching that target either. Then this is my jam. I love partnering with companies. Can we find another brand, another service provider? Who else has skin in this game? Who else wants to reach this audience in a non-competitive, supporting way? Can we share lists? I mean, look, I didn't have to get these RSVPs for this field event right here. Right? I partnered up with HubSpot. That was the exchange. I'm going to provide some really great content. I was also going to provide an audience and a venue for that. So partners, sponsor targets is huge, obviously, for what we do. So we pay so much sometimes for sponsoring, and then everybody else in the market is going to put together. But my point is if we can have this conversation early, we can see how big are these lists. Do these lists even exist? Are they numerical at all? Any significance? And what do we think the conversion rate might be on this list? I think it'd probably go pretty high at the top and start to go down from there. Are we forecasting this at all? And I just threw the slide in last minute, just to think about it. It's out of 1,000 targets. I'm not a math guy. 30% of 1,000 is 300, isn't it? Is that right? So far, so good? This guy does math, right? Okay, and then what's 30% of 300? 90, good. See, it's crowdsourcing here, so we're good. And then 30% of 90 is 30. 27. Jesus. Okay, 27. See, I'm spreadsheets, math, not for me. Getting up here, just winging it, yeah, I'm in. So, 47. So you start to look at this and go, are we really going to deal with guys? And these are just benchmarks. I just feel like 30% is a decent number to start with, and you can flex it up and flex it down. If the numbers look too low, how can we up the conversion rate? Or how can we add the total number of invitees? I'm going to you guys, I rarely have this style of conversations with the sales team when we're beginning. It's just like, doing the trade show. Take it away. Yeah. So let's just be a little bit more strategic like that. This isn't directly related to what I just said, but it's the template that I have to share. I just know I love templates when I do presentations like this. I'm like, don't make me take all the notes and have to figure out how to apply. Just show me what you do. Like, show me what the formula is, right? So one of the things that I feel that was very useful for me for getting exponential more reach and exposure out of these events is make sure every single person who's involved in that event, the reps, the speakers, the subject matter experts, executives, they're sharing out on their networks what's going on. That might save your event's ROI story, is who got exposed to this thing. Even if they didn't show up, even if they didn't engage, they didn't buy, they heard about it. Huge to do. And you guys promised the link is coming, guys. The link is coming. Okay, hold tight. We're almost there. So we're going to pick up now, what does sales do after the RSVP? Yeah, we can talk about how to send a good marketing email. I think most of us focus on that, right? There's some spot partners who want to do that. What does sales do after that part? Whether the sponsor got the RSVP, we got the RSVP, what should sales be doing? They don't do a lot in general at this point. The sales reps don't know. What we should do is warm those people up with content. Let's get that moth to flame type effect. And I don't know if you folks have ever read this person's work, Priya Parker. She wrote a book called The Art of Gathering. Have you ever read this one? There we go. Great book. It's what she wrote a book about whether you're gathering an intimate dinner party or a bunch of ambassadors together. She talks all about the motion and the thought process. And this is just a reminder, right? The event experience starts the moment that you even know that it's happening. And some of these people, they don't even show up at this event. If you look at the INBOUND25 hashtag, you know how people are firing off on that thing and they're not even here? Oh, sounds good, what's happening, yeah. Did they talk about my thing that I was interested in? Like, it's the experience begins when they hear about it, that's all I'm trying to say. So, think about, have you done any of the following? I'm sure we've got a lot of smart, competent event organizers in here, but is there a couple of these nuggets you haven't done yet? Personalized advice from sales, we talked about. What about a pre-show thought leadership blog post or podcast from that subject matter expert, from that executive we invited, right? Could we not just get that person to do a live stream with us, a podcast, and go back and forth, and put that out? This is the person you're going to meet. This is what we're going to be talking about. And maybe perhaps by the time you show up at your event in your booth, it feels more like call number 2. Meeting number 2. It's not, what? What is this? No, I already heard about you. You're like, Patrick, you got a halo on you. I saw you, the guy from TV, from the internet. Cool. Event teasers on social, you just saw my template for that. Make sure that is happening and make it easy for those presenters to, those speakers to put that out. And then email sequences. I think that one is a toughie that we want to look into, right? When you set something up in HubSpot, you want sales to be reaching out separately from what marketing is doing, right? Have your RSVP, are you going to leave this to Eventbrite or to like Zoom to automate that? That's all we need, right? That usually works every time. The auto email, the reminder from Eventbrite, that's all we need to know. You need to have sales. In addition to that general thing you heard about, hey, I heard your RSVP, that's awesome. Can't wait. Wondering if you're going to come to this or not. And number 2 is, hey, here's some other people we know are RSVP. I emceed an event in the Boston Seaport a couple weeks ago. It was an intimate 50-person event of chief data officers. And on their page, it wasn't just here's the 3 or 4 pictures of who's speaking. Here's all like 45 people who RSVP. Their LinkedIn, the title, whatever. And I think a lot of why people come to some of those smaller, more intimate networking events is who's going to be here. Who do I know? Who do I want to know? Who's going to be there? So that's a perfectly worthy thing for sales reps to be talking about. Here's who also is RSVP. I think you might want to meet them. And then as we're getting closer, let's have the sales rep reach out again and say, hey, I can't wait for you to try this new activation that we did or this new experience that we're going to have. You have to meet our CEO. I told them a lot about you. I'm going to get them fired up for this. I'm going to make them go, oh, they're going to notice if I back out. They're really looking forward to this. And then the morning of the event, of course, here's last minute, here's how you dial in to get to the co-working space. Here's where the link is to get to the live stream. We're just showing them that we care, and sales reps would love if we had this already teed up for them. And then we can have them still do the work. We've teed up a general sequence, which is very nice. It does what I just said. The sales rep, you just got to sign the contact. I need you to personalize that a little bit. It's going to work really well for you. That's on sales. And then 2 or 3 days out, hey, it's about to start. They're about to be there. Have you done the research? You have a great anecdote. Do you have a person you want to introduce them to? You get them. I was talking to some folks here on this side before we got started, and a lot of times it's just scrambling, coming in last minute. This could really help them get the steps they need to do into their flow, into the process flow. So don't forget to warm up your sales team as well. We did a big sponsorship. I was head of partnerships for a consulting firm, and we sponsored 6 Senses. I don't know if anybody was a 6 Sense customer, but we sponsored 6 Senses customer event, and we were one of their biggest partners, and we spent a lot of money on that sponsorship. So I made sure there's a note before you go to deck. We talked about here are the key executives at 6 Sense they want to be targeting. Here's the customer that we're going to be doing the breakout session with. Here's what my breakout session is all about with that customer. Here's the team members of ours who are going. Here's the schedule and where I need you to be and what I need you to be doing. I'm sure some of us have done this, but if you're not doing this regularly and having a meeting about it, I think that would be a very good idea to sit down. It's a great follow-up from that briefing conversation as well. Now looking for part 3, we can engage and qualify at this event. Yes, this is an AI-generated dream of what it was like when I still had hair. Not coming back.
Second that.
But you lean in, right? You own it. That's what we do. That's what we event organizers do. We work with what we have. Oh, have we done the following? We've done the following. Interactive elements, yes, plan them out ahead of time. But let's assign some roles. If you're going to be the greet, who's good in your sales team at greeting and building rapport with people? Kind of an extrovert, fearless. Who's good at doing the demo? Maybe they should just be the demo, the subject matter experts, the engineering type people. What about somebody who can start checking in, checking out, create that feeling of play to your strengths? Who's got what skills? They're not all just monolithic reps, right? right? They're people who have passions and things that we can utilize. Obviously, we have the technology in place, tablets, QR codes, things like this, and then also making sure that afterwards, tagging the life cycle stage. We've got our friends in the sales ops and marketing ops here care a lot about that. Oh, sorry, this is a picture when I worked for a leading HubSpot partner, Impact. We sponsored INBOUND. One of the things we did to this effect, we practiced it, we rehearsed it, is to do website teardowns. We're on the HubSpot partner, we do website development, stuff like that. Come in, show us your website, last 3 or 4 questions, here's how we can provide value. We train on key things that we can point out to people, and then we took them over to the checkout stage. Great, what are you talking about? Cool, did you get solved? What you need solved? You want to follow up on that? Into the CRM. So it can happen, it can be fun. Let's double click a little bit on the 2 parts, engaging and qualifying. What do we mean? Engaging is, my saying is, if you want high performance, you gotta put on a performance. We gotta entertain people. We gotta show them that we care. So putting on specific branding for the event, maybe not just your typical logo palette and stuff like that, something's a little jazzed up that feels a little specific to the event. High energy hosting. See, yes, it's a little bias, it's a little self-serving, I get it. But I do think it makes a difference. You tell me if I hadn't done that little hype up thing in the beginning, and just kind of waltzed out here, hey everybody, it's just something I'm supposed to start this now. There's a difference, and it might make all the difference in terms of engagement and attention. Music, there's a chronic lack of music in the B2B world. Right? It's like, how many humans like music? 100% of humans enjoy music. Interesting. I didn't know that. So let's take a chance, right? How good is the music here at this event? All very thoughtful. I went back there and said, can I have music? No, we only have our pre-approved songs. They got a music palette. Very cool. Type of transitions, right? You just think of that booth again. Hey, yep, here, okay, so where you go? Maybe go to the Fathom booths downstairs, that arcade and stuff like that. I felt handled in a good way. I was like, oh, right, here's this tool. You guys can fly as well. Try the arcade. You did a photo. This is great. You guys saw anything in there? What's going on? And then giveaways and challenges. I don't know about you folks, but as I try to study this, how can we all do better, myself included? I try to watch what everybody else is doing. And if you guys know Jay Schwedelson, he's like the mayor of Inbound here for crying out loud. He put on an event called Eventastic. Anybody know that? You were there? We're all in the chats. Yeah, they threw out, I was glued to the screen for 2 days in a virtual event. That is hard. And they had stuff like this. It's sometimes intimidating to go to these breakout sessions online, right? Either I can have to talk about. They said, look, just go put money in charity. Just go for charity. Don't go for you, go for them, for the kids, or whatever. So I think that's very inspiring. Just give a challenge, just give away for charity. You don't have to always bribe people. Just we'll do something nice if you take a chance. And then the last part is the unexpected. That's what this story is about, this picture. Right? We were at Impact, and we threw our own event for the first time called Impact Live. We're like, how do we create a great, memorable moment at the end? And Karina Duffy is in the picture here, goes, I've been a gymnast, I can do like that. And so we had a whole flash mob at the end. All the staff walked out to the aisles. I've had the time of my life. We're all clapping and lights are going. And then someone just picked up Karina, just pinwheeling over the audience. And they're all smiling like that. I was like, this is just amazing. And she just does HubSpot consulting. But she can also do that. So we left that on the table? No way. So, and I think these are easier conversations to have, easier skills to discover if you're having the dialogue, the project management sat down with the brief, and we talked about what we're trying to do here. Does anybody have any of those skills? Does anybody know anybody? Right? You need to have this dialogue a lot more facilitated. Let's move on. So, who is currently doing this? Anybody trying that? Assigning specific roles to the rep. Like, you're going to do this part, you're going to do that part. You have it. Does it work? Yeah, I think this is a great idea. Just food for thought. Qualifying. So if we did that right, if we put on some engaging, then we're going to be able to qualify and capture things with the QR code. Mobile contact entry. This is the HubSpot stuff, right? We've known this for years. Have that form ready to go on the tablet. A great follow-up experience. What you see, a little vaguely, sorry, the shots are a little bit dim, is that HubSpot can set up an automatic text message. Thanks so much for coming by. Here's where you get follow-up information. You can have it automatically put a booking link to the rep that you want to auto-assign to it. So my marketing ops, sales ops, you know what I'm saying? Right? Let's get that meeting invite for that auto-assigned rep. And people could be leaving our booth with already the next meeting booked is the idea. Don't want to leave this to chance. We don't want that nightmare situation where I talked about it, get back and the day goes by, weeks go by, 2 weeks go by. Can't happen. All right, what about digital events? Sometimes it's not always in person. Digital is possible out there in the field. We're in an increasingly global world, and I believe there's a number of people who would love to commune with you and your topic, and the people in your industry who just can't, for different reasons, right? And that's not always their fault. So I think being able to provide a digital component to whatever we're doing is fair, is right, and frankly, it's smart. Because of the breadcrumb trail that people can leave. And why not do, when we talk about wanting a lot of content, why not, if we know who the subject matter experts are going to be, who the reps are going to bring, why not get those people on a broadcast, a Zoom, a live podcast ahead of time and talking about what they're going to be talking about at the event, build that out a little bit. We might as well have a digital, dress rehearsal version of the event ahead of time, and then also afterwards the recap. We capture a lot more information to qualify with. And is that really worth it, Nick? You tell me, it's doing trivia here, your chance to share. How much higher are engagement rates of webinars where we do just some basic table stakes interactive stuff, polls, Q&A, and so on? Who thinks it's 20% higher? Who thinks it's maybe 30% higher? You do that? 50% higher? Any takers? 50, okay. 70%? Pretty bold, yeah. HubSpot is out of luck, 50% more engagement. What we all want, we're all after, if you do these things. And if we don't bother to do these things, I won't take a swing, I don't want to set it up, I'm too busy, it's too scary. We're leaving 50% of the goodwill on the table. I just want to throw a couple of stories out. Number one at the top was, again, I mentioned we were one of the leading sponsors, one of the largest services partners for 6 Cents. And I'm in charge of the partnership, I'm in charge of the sponsorship. We had a big breakout session that the whole event's kind of riding on what we're going to do. And me and Dominic Colosano, the CEO, who's also pictured up there, said, we got to pick one of our clients and make it all about them. So you sure? All about them. It's their sessions. This is Sandler training. This is Carrie Martin, she's actually at a conference this week. And 6 Cents with HubSpot, stitching that all together, gave her and her enterprise ABM team the data they needed to prove that they make a difference. That the people that they're touching, the people who are buying, were part of their path of nurturing emails and events and so on. And their story is all about, marketers who struggle with the most is getting credibility and getting that seat at the table. So we had everybody leading in. We could have talked about the 6 Cents features and the services of our company. And my CEO just came in and did that at the very last minute. Where we said, the customer is Luke Skywalker. They are the star. They are the hero. We are simply Obi-Wan. That's the content marketing way. We help this person get to where they need to be, listen to their story. And the second one, how we engage and qualify. I don't know if folks know SmartBug, leading HubSpot partner here. I love these guys. I've been a fan of what they've done for years. And they were putting on a webinar this year about agentic AI, right? Like many people are. And they were concerned about how do we keep people going from this webinar. That was a 3-part webinar series. This episode was going to be 2 hours long. And there'd be multiple stakeholders. We're going to have agent AI in there. We're going to have HubSpot product managers in there. We're going to have our own subject matter experts who don't speak on these webinars a lot in there. And they brought me in. And I'm not saying it's just me. If you want to have yourself or someone dedicated to thinking about bringing together all the different speakers and also queuing off these same number of engagement activities. You need like a ringleader, someone who's going to say, now take the quiz, now do the poll. They have all AI, 10 questions, what's your AI readiness? They're qualifying them through this quiz and stuff like that. So these someone to team them up and make them excited about wanting to do that and make everything kind of move in seamlessly. So just a couple of examples that inspire us about engaging and then also qualifying. Engage with some story, engage with some heart, qualify with some technology, and make it fun, make it feel smooth and seamless. Oh, and also part of the engagement again is back to your team. This is just a screenshot of the Drift team. I worked at Drift for a number of years, and I emceed our virtual events. And what they're basically saying is, we put in a lot more interactive activities to this virtual event, and we got an MC Nick to do it, and the NPS scores were the highest they've ever been. The amount of engagement we're picking up on those digital feeds is the highest they've ever been. The only takeaway is to show them that you care, go above and beyond. Oh, there's going to be a DJ at this party? Sounds like a pretty cool party. Oh, there's going to be an MC at this event? There's going to be like a magician or something? Wow, sounds like they're doing something different. They're investing. If you want to make sure that you're definitely having an engaging event and that you're going to have people well positioned to qualify, I recommend using a runner show. Many people, this is like 101 for events, but some of us it's not. Have a runner show to say who's going to be saying what are we going to say? What's word 1? what is the first minute of this experience going to be like? Who's going to do it? Where's the content for it? Is there a technical cue? Do we need to test something? Do we need to check something? That should all be in here, because if not, guys, I think you've felt this before. They're all going to come running at us. Hey, when's this happening? What's going on? I'm trying to run the event right now. I can't troubleshoot this for you or track this down for you. So have a run show and allow everybody before and during, and perhaps even after, say who's supposed to do what happened, how can we replicate this and do this even better in the future. Documentation, template is right here. Yes, I did finally throw in a bit late. INBOUND 2025, you can get this in every other template. I have shown and show in my remaining time. Let's try and do a little bit better with our run and show. These are just, I scraped together like the best runs. I want to show those are different. Be a simple Google Doc and a detailed spreadsheet like this. So this is a greatest hits of some ones I paid for clients in other companies over time. Now into our fourth part. We have identified the key targets, warmed them up, they were well primed, and then we engaged them and we got some good data. And then now it's time to follow up with everybody, not just the contacts, but with the sales reps, make sure they do their part, and the executive team that funds us. It's a lot of practice for the next one. So think that I've done the following. Do you have a post-event sequence set up? Do we have automatic tasks assigned to rep to follow? Have we used engagement qualified data that we pulled in from the virtual event, from the booth, from the dinner, and to personalize the message around whatever topic, session, item, question they were interested in? And my opinion, a big mark of following up is right here. This is the sales leader, Jared Fuller, the head of partner sales at Drift. He said, Nick, I need you to put together a really great, engaging, splashy webinar for our partners to show them that we're back better than ever, and we're here to support them. We need them to help us find more leads, source more leads, service more customers. So fine, Jared, if I'm going to do that, I need you to rally your reps. If it works, get them to jump on any momentum that comes from those partners. I don't have the time or the ability to do that well. And this is him saying, you did it. They're in position. We have where we want them. Guys, don't waste a day. We know exactly where they're at. We know exactly how they feel. Let's go. And I know, I get goosebumps talking about it right now. It's like, I can't believe marketing works. Right? It's still to this day, I can't believe it worked. Oh my God. It's exciting. So, in summary, post-event, just want to give you a little roll up here. We want scalable follow-up, that's automated follow-up, personalized, getting the reps to help us with that. We want smart content, dropping in, you look at this topic, you've come to our events before, you haven't come to our events before, let's acknowledge that. Workflows, to make sure that all happens automatically, set those up ahead of time. Sync that sales pipeline into the CRM, it's not going to live in spreadsheet land. And build follow-up KPIs for your sales team. I want to take a moment on this one. Sales reps, they like challenges. They love to exceed expectations, post up good numbers. Why don't we talk about it ahead of time? What's a good SLA? If we put on this great event and get these good contacts where you're well qualified, 24 hours, 48 hours, what are we doing? Who was the number one, followed up with the most rep, the most contacts, followed up the fastest? Let them take charge of that and commit to their piece. We did our part. We put on a great event, got them engaged and qualified. Now what are they going to do? What's their KPI? And then this last one, I think is super powerful. We don't do it enough. Make sure there's an offer at your trade show that's not or webinar or your dinner that's not available anywhere else or any other time. Case in point, we had Vidyard was a big sponsor of that event at Impact I told you about. And they were a strategic partner with us, a new partner, and they wanted to send their CEO down from Canada to come and present at our conference. We're psyched. And we said, great, we're going to offer. And he said, we'll do our standard 20% off, something like that if you buy. We said, can you go further? Can you do something special you've never done before? We promise if you offer it, we will get them to take you up on it. He said, okay, we'll do 50% off the first year subscription for a maximum of 5 people. Tony was there, and within an hour from getting off stage, sold out. But we get that up. We became the highest reselling Vidyard partner in the afternoon because we challenged him. We sat down and we did a little bit of this and said, let's go further. Let's prepare ahead of time to do something really remarkable, the unexpected. Obviously, it's tough to set this type of things up. I think sequences are just intimidating. So I wanted to give you an idea of what might go into a pretty good, cutting edge sequence. Number one, obviously, thanking them for coming. This is the rep who's assigned to this contact. Maybe you have some key takeaways. What was the attendee's key takeaway? Right? We often say, well, here's what we thought, or here's what the speaker said, or whatever. What did you guys take away from it? Was it what we thought you'd take away from it? Did we put you on the invite? Was it we specified it in the brief? Is it matching? rep, you gotta ask and find out. It's a good thing to ask. And then a week of these reps doing that, you should have a roll on that. You've asked 50 to 75 people or whatever it was. What did everybody say? You asked them the same phone call. Do you mind? That's a really good takeaway. I haven't heard that before. Am I approaching on that? School blog post or something, right? Sure. I've had custom clients who've done this before, and they bought because the company offered to help make them fix a little bit and put their takeaway in. Then by 2 weeks out, we roll that all up into a nice article and deliver on that promise. And a month out, we do this a lot at Drift. Is take the whole transcript of all the takeaways from the attendees, roll it into a whole ebook guide we can download and consume afterwards. Gosh, with AI nowadays, that can be done pretty quickly. And it's been very powerful. And what we're trying to do is give sales an excuse to follow up all these contacts. Do you see what's happening here? It's not even really about whether they came to the event or not. Even if we failed to qualify them and engage them as deeply as we want, we now have that excuse to reach out to them and talk about it. Good or bad, that's what we need to keep sales busy with every month. So has anybody ever done this? Anybody created a post event piece of content? Maybe you see attendee feedback too? You go, well? The attendees go, oh no! I don't want to be quoted.
No, they want it.
They want it.
They're hungry for it.
People want to be seen, right? All right, that's awesome. So we're almost done here, guys. Now we want to track and segment the engagement of HubSpot. And I'm not doing a whole HubSpot demo here, but I'm just trying to show you a couple screenshots. We have the HubSpot event tool. I can track, integrates with Eventbrite and such. Who registered, who showed, who didn't show. Back in Impact over here, lower right-hand corner, that's the lead record. You can append all that information into HubSpot. You can now be building segments off that, triggering workflows off that, triggering lead scoring off that. Obviously, you gotta do that part. So make sure that we're tracking these things, and that will allow us to start to have a conversation about ROI. But the point I want to make here is, yes, of course, we're going to show you reports in HubSpot or Salesforce or what have you. But try telling the story. Talk about the journey. The top one in that Impact, he said, this is where the event strategy fits. Somebody's journey towards becoming a client of ours. It's like the reverse funnel. Many people visit the website. Many thousands then will actually consume our digital content. Many hundreds will come to the event, and dozens will become clients over time. The bottom one, we showed off for 6 cents clients. Customers show that contact, that sales, you think you just shot me out. That person had been nurtured, attended multiple events, multiple meetings. Here's how we all work together across what we've been talking about. Visualize this. I can't tell you how powerful this is for your executive team. This is who sales wants, real prospects to talk to and to know that they're warm and ready to go. It takes a little extra lift. They're the out, how we're going to help us out. And just demonstrate, tell that story. That's how we're going to earn the sequel. Get to do this again, even bigger and better. Whatever. We have an event KPI template, so we'll be able to track registrants, attendees, and we can see this burn down as we get closer. Are we doing well on the registrants or attendees? Do we need to adjust anything? Do we might need to postpone? Because sales is not actually being able to come through. Having the KPIs ahead of time, that's conversion rates I talked about, will allow us to see the early danger and be able to turn the ship in time instead of scrambling and making do like most of us have to do. I have a bonus for you. I had to give you a little something extra. Start a community. If we do this right, we can end up with an organization that's putting on something like this that we didn't know. I was the first one. That was 600 people at UMass Amherst. Okay, now here we are, one of the greatest convention centers in the world, in San Francisco. It starts somewhere, humble beginnings. So for sparking community, the goals here are trying to capitalize on that event momentum. How do we get everybody who's so excited about that? Usually, you come to a great event, but when do we do this again? We do this again next year? When can we continue the conversation? That's how we know to move up. So capitalize on it. Yes, we're starting a community. We'd love to hear more. We'd love to have you involved in organizing the next one. And that's the point. We want to have a regular hub, not just the Zoom recap page. Watch the full unedited recording and get out of here. It's like what the Zoom recap is. Now let's make a hub that we can comment. It's got an index. It's got a chat thread. We can all interact with each other. And get your participants involved in the next one. And I'll just make this one plug. Whether it's you, someone like me, someone on the outside, have a dedicated facilitator for all of this. I talked to someone here who said there are a dozen trade shows. I said, who's like running those shows? She said, no. We all scramble together. We do it, right? So if we can get budget for either ourselves, not having to be one of 12 spinning plates we have to manage, maybe it's the spinning plate, or can we bring in somebody for this first event, for this next event, or what have you, having somebody own this stuff is the major missing piece that we have, because then that person has time to go train your other people to be better performers, to go seek sponsors who want to get behind this big swing idea, this big show, and to be able to create different style of events that maybe aren't so salesy, but are more about helping users, clients, community members get stuff done, and then to create the biggest episodic experience. I have a community calendar template just to cue us. We're not just planning what's happening in August, we're planning what's going to happen. How's that going to tie into February? Right? Because this is an ongoing thing, an ongoing dialogue and discussion we're having with our target group. Let us recap as we wind down 5 minutes to go. And I will hang out, by the way, guys, outside the hallway if you have any questions. And this talk will be 3 hours long, right? But I had to cram it in 45 minutes. So, in recap, having an owner, very important, makes a big difference. Having high performance, focus on entertainment. Are we going to be able to perform for these people? Perform a show, that's how we'll earn their attention and their qualification. And then use tools, obviously, use technology as much as possible, plan ahead of time, get everybody on the same page as what's going to happen. And here it all is now, fully iOS, I guess we're doing swarms, but identify key targets, warm them up with content, engage and qualify again, follow the sales and smart community. And if you do this, folks, we're going to be in great shape. I can't wait to see you there. I want to offer you some free templates you've heard me talk about this entire time. Oops. The event briefing doc, know before you go. The social promo template is also in there. Run a show, KPI tracker, and event calendar. Make them your own, extrapolate from them, and bring this rigor into your event. And also, be sure, of course, to rate it and to make sure I put that in there. And this is what I'd love to do. Is I'd love to have a follow-up dialogue with these. What I certainly learned from all of us chatting today is that all of us feel often like we're out on an island. We feel by ourselves. That's not cool. It's the lowest, saddest thing to have there be lonely and not marketers, right? That marketers, that's not right. We gotta fix that. So I hope there's a few people out here that would just love to talk more about this, team up about this, continue to check in with each other. How's it going for you? How are we going to apply some of this? And I'm going to put our event later this month. You're all invited. We'll bring some even more magic to it. There'll be a musical number, who knows, fun and unexpected. So thank you all so much for coming today. I really, really appreciate it.